My name's William. I'm an amateur photographer, and I'm currently starting this channel to record what myself and my girlfriend get up to and capture it. On the 30th of June, we headed down to the Baston Car Show in Grimsthorpe Castle, 6 AM to meet up with some Mini enthusiasts. And they wanted us to come along with them, so we all met up in the car park together, and we convoyed down to Grimsthorpe Castle, where we had a nice little drive. It was early, so the roads were empty. Got a few clips of us driving down through the villages, and then we arrived all as one and got set up. As we got set up, we were quite early, so we saw a lot of cars roll into the show. We saw a few Porsches who were next to us. Some old Toyotas came by, and both me and Dot had a wander around because the public hadn't entered yet. So we wandered down, took some really good photos. Well, I hope they're good photos. We saw a few MX-5s, there was an E12 and quite a few E30s, which are my favourite cars. Took a lot of photos of the E30s and edited them because I like the way they look so much. So as we were walking around, there were a lot of people touching up their cars. We saw this old man with I don't know what car it was an old black car. Looked really nice, proper old and like 1960s. And we went over and chatted to him. I got a few photos of him as he was in the process of polishing, and I thought it looked really nice. I think there was a Union Jack flag in the background that I really enjoyed. Gave it more of a historic or a little bit of background to the photo. And then we continued around the day, saw a really old Chevrolet, a nice baby blue one. I really wanted to capture the vibrance and the almost design of it. So we went, in my head I wanted to get at least 3 good photos that I could stitch together to give almost like a sequence to properly show the car off. They had a really big white fluffy dog that walked in front of the car and was, I think, drinking from a bottle or drinking from a dog bowl. So I took a photo of that and then stitched in an interior shot as well as an exterior shot, which I thought looked quite nice. So after we took some photos of those cars, we then went down into a field. There were loads of old Jaguars sat there, a few XJ8s I think they are, and definitely some E-types. Next to the Jaguars, there were there was like a rallying section, some really old rally cars that we saw. These photos from the rallying event I didn't want them to go to waste, so I took some inspiration online. I looked at a website called Petrolicious, and some of the photographs that were taken on there by Matthew Bonnevie were great. I'm going to show them on the screen now. They're extremely vibrant, a lot of motion's being shown. I realised I didn't capture that much motion in my photos, but still, the chance to be able to look at someone else's work and almost realise where you went wrong, so that next time when I take more motion type photos, I can incorporate what I've learned from previous artists or photographers, should I say. As well as looking at images from Petrolicious, I looked on Google Images simply just to see old photos from like the 90s, the old 90s rally photos, to try and copy their sort of style when it comes to the colour. I noticed that through these photos, there's a lot of cyan and reds being used. I replicated this by taking the strictly red and cyan from the colours and in the photograph and adjusting them whilst using the curves. I took the shadows into the red patch and took highlights into the cyan, only to realise that later on I needed to invert that, as I found the image looked better with red highlights and a cyan shade. I really liked the way they looked. I tried to replicate it through the rest of my photographs, strictly the ones that follow now. To 30mm lens with me, just in case, and I found it extremely useful when I was taking photos when the cars were driving past, as the track veered off extremely far, and it allowed me to get some really close-up photos and a lot more photos than I would have been able to get with just a wide-angle lens. I wandered around this field to capture each individual car stationary. I saw a few of them where their owners or mechanics were working on them, sticking liveries on, just tinkering around. I got a few photos of these guys, and then later on, it was only till later that I realised that these cars were actually rallying through Grimstock Castle. After I noticed that they were rallying, as the cars started setting off, I thought it would be a good chance to capture both a photo of the car rallied as it's flying down the track, as well as the car stationary as it's getting work done to it. So I hope the results show that. I loaded my Canon A1 with Phoenix film, which is extremely vibrant. I then used this to my advantage and only shot cars that were extremely colourful. When receiving the film, it was heavily underdeveloped, and so I spent a while on Lightroom just editing and slowly brightening up each photo and adjusting the colour. Here are the results. Thank you for watching my video.